Hi, my name is Dahlia from Mandaleecardsandmore, and today I'm coming on with Friday's flowers. I've been asked a few different ways about how I make my flowers, and I figured I would share it. And today we're going to make these two different variations using one die. So here is the die set. It's a 4-piece floral set that I got from AliExpress using Nina Solar white cardstock today because I do want to ink blank my papers. We're going to run that through the machine, and you'll see I have multiples of different sizes. So using a piece of foam, just finishing knocking up those negative pieces. The next step that we're going to do is actually color in the cardstock. Now you can skip this step and use color cardstock, or you can use printed cardstock with patterns. I tend to like to use white and use whatever ink that's going to best match my project. So today, just for filming purposes, I decided to use blue because it stands out a little bit more. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to show you here quickly using one of each size is how we did one of the flowers. But there's multiple ways you can do this. So using my memory keeper stylus pen, I am just rubbing the back of the cards in just to give it a little curvature. And I'm going to do that to all the pieces. Once I've done all 5 petals, I flip it over and just go around the center hole just to get the petals to pop up and the center to go down. So I'm finishing up the last of them, and then we're going to start mounting them together. So one best tip for your flower to look the best is to make sure that your petals are offset a little bit. And since this design is a very simple and quick one, I'm just using standard adhesive glue, nothing special, and just putting those all together. There goes one flower. Now you saw in my intro picture, I did use a flat back pearl to close the center of that hole. So now the second flower is a little bit more trickier. So now I'm flipping them, inked side down, and we're going to do the same pattern, but instead of flipping it around to give you that curve of the petals up, we're going to keep it face down, and we're going to go around the center to get the petals to curl into each other. So you can see I'm trying to mold it together, and I'm so sorry, I do need to trim my nails down, so some of the steps you really can't get a clear picture of what I'm doing, but I hope I can explain it fairly well. For this, it's best to use some hot glue. Try to get a low temperature because you can burn yourself, and glue is going to stick to you. So what we're doing is just scrunching them all up together, and for this one I used 3 of the smallest ones to get that full bud effect. And I'm fiddling around with it just a little bit. I have to make sure everything fits. So there we go. I'm going to start scrunching that all up together. And the bad part about working with hot glue is you get the strings as you pull across. So that's what I'm pulling away. You probably don't see them, but they're there. Alright, so there goes the first bud. And then we're going to take that, add a little hot glue to the base of it, and center it onto the second piece, and we're going to repeat the process. Now it's always best to get the petals to turn all in the way you want them as close as possible. It'll make gluing them together go fairly quickly. I'm going to finish this one up. Alright, and that's the last petal out of the 5. Give it a nice firm press, and 2 buds are down. Going to do the same thing for the third one. We're going to finish that up right now. Now for this one, I did not use all 4 I predominantly stood with the smallest one and the next smallest. So again, I used 3 of the smallest ones to make the rosebuds in the middle. And then I cut out 2 additional ones. And I'm doing the same process I did, curling up those petals from the back. But for this one, I flipped it over and did do the center. So we're going to take that rosebud and we're going to put it, we're going to glue it down to the middle. And all this is doing is trying to give you a seamless transition from the small to the next one. So since we did take the small ones and folded them all within themselves, we needed something to help transition them into the next size. So I felt 2 of them was enough. So we're going to set that in the center, and you can see it kind of fits perfectly in there. And then we're going to overlay that. Remember, making sure that your petals are offset from each other to give it that fullness. I'm going to get that into the next one. And then we're going to do the same thing for that last one. I'm probably being a little too generous with the glue, but I want to make sure they stay. Alright, so this is what it looks like so far. And I'm just raising those first 2 layers that we added just to give it that fullness. And then working my way to the outer layers. And then that very last layer, just taking those petals and curving them down with my fingers. I think I actually end up grabbing a small, yep, there it is, small paintbrush, and just curving the ends just a little bit more. And you can play around with this until you're satisfied with what it looks like. But there it is. That's our second flower. Now for the center, I wanted to add a little something. And I have these sea beads. They're very, very small. I usually use them for shaker cards. I'm going to show you what they look like right now. So you can see they are very, very fine beads. So what I'm going to do is, so that center has a little sparkle and shine, I'm going to add some hot glue in there. And then just add some of those sea beads in the middle, using the tip of my paintbrush to just get it all in there so they stay secure and they don't fall out. And you can keep repeating that until you're happy with what the center looks like. And it doesn't look like much now because of, but you can see a little sparkle in there. So yeah, these are the 2 flowers that we did today, using this 4-piece floral die set that I got from AliExpress, and I'll leave the link down below. Looking at the other flower, it kind of looked a little flat, so I did take the end of my paintbrush and just twirled it around. Here are some close-ups of the 2 flowers that we did today. I hope you found it helpful. I am considering doing Floral Fridays a little more regularly, using different floral dyes that I have. And again, as always, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and until the next video, bye.